Under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the children must be protected. The women must be protected. But before we do that, let us understand who they are.
Online television. My name is Gwendolyn Dorado.
I did not read for the legally enter this
morning from the Paynesville town hall in Monrovia, where the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission is holding panel discussions with partners in national dialogue on the influx of Burkinabe nationals in Liberia. And welcome to this live broadcast. Once again, my name is Gwendolyn Dorado, and panelists, you have the Executive Director, Repatriation, and Minister.
So those questions might be answered.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We'll come back to you around.
Being one of the panelists here. You're welcome to this live.
He's well past the subject matter.
Gwendolyn Dorado. You are highly.
And I will hold you to human rights issue. And like you said, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I know many of you will talk about the ECOWAS protocol and all those things, but we will come back to it. I will go to Honorable Wolsey. Let's talk about these people. Our two panelists have talked about social and human rights issue. Councillor Denson Brown asked a very salient question. Who are they? Are they migrants? Are they refugees? Are they asylum seekers? Who are they? While we're talking about social and human rights issue, we need to understand the dynamics.
So we spoke about social protection. We also talked about the issue of human rights. And then we want to know more about these people. The big one for them being their POCs, their persons of concern. As a government, we signed the LRRRC, we signed the national instruments, we are living testimony on the domestication of the UN conventions. So, it's about time that we live up to what we agree to do as a country. So, be it Burkinabes who are migrants or Burkinabes who are asylum seekers, for us at the level of LRRRC, to work with migrants is part of our core mandates. To work with refugees is also part of our core mandates. So we are under obligation of our mandate functional review of the institution to make sure this government, our government, is accountable for any human rights situation that may occur, and any problem we should be in a position to address them. Are they migrants? I will talk in 2 minutes on mixed migration. Under the concept of mixed migration, it says group of people on the move. In that basket, you have refugees, you have asylum seekers, you have economic migrants, you have stranded migrants. You also have IDPs. You have stateless people. And other people who just need concern like the DEV, the deprived, the excluded, and the vulnerable people. All those people in one basket in need of international protection based on the Universal Declaration. So on mixed migration, we ask for provide protection. But we have to cascade that into what? Getting to understand who are refugees, who are asylum seekers, who are economic migrants. On our laws, like your migrant or asylum seekers, because this government have domesticated those instruments, there are some laws that you have to respect. So to conform to international protection, we are also to respect the laws of our people. Who are these people? If we look on the right hand side of the POCs and call them economic migrants, under migration law, we have 90 days based on ECOWAS. But the people we're referring to, their country have broke away from us. Africa. So who are they? Do we apply the ECOWAS movement on them? And so no. It could be yes. The second part is that once the people are being, if we do not apply the ECOWAS movement on them, then we will apply what my mission also says. Take them back in safety and dignity. In the absence of taking them back in safety and dignity, we are also concerned because there's a war we call a refugee local war, refugee surplus. 1990, our parent brothers and sisters left for a year in America, and as a result of the crisis, they could not come back home. Those who stay in America, besides getting that temporary status, under international law, they are also qualified under refugee surplus to have international protection. So if people cannot be in our borders, are not ECOWAS citizens to apply the ECOWAS free movement, while the Kenya on business or other bishops, the fact that they have a war in their country and they cannot go back home, can invoke that refugee surplus and require protection. If they are qualified because of war and they are also here in our borders, then we will invoke the certain regime that have steps and have to be investigated. For the close, it doesn't matter what basket we put it in. But we can look at them on an individual basis. The individual in their role in community and their rights. And the community hosting them. So on one side in summary, we have our people of concern, and on the other side, we have a community. Do they have access to international protections? Do they have access to basic social services? Do they have access to what? Several documentation? Who repose human rights violations? What parameters do we put into place in frequent mechanisms to ensure that they are protected until we have global solutions are concerned?
Thank you.
So I'm close right there.
We'll come back to you. Thank you so much. He touched on so many things. He said they are people or persons of concern. And then he said also we can also classify them as DEP. But he also said, despite these nomenclature, the issue of human rights and protection is coming for them. So we are on the trajectory to ensuring that they get that protection under the international convention, under the ECOWAS standards. Whether they withdraw from ECOWAS or still in ECOWAS is something that needs to be discussed. There's another section coming up where you have the councillors coming up to also discuss these particular issues so that we understand. Let's come back to our little video of Deputy Minister. Let's talk about community. Let's talk about the social and human rights implications for communities also that are hosting these our brothers, our West African brothers.
All right, you said you wanted to talk about human rights within the community because earlier I started on talking about social protection. But before I go further, I'd like to just read something closely here. We talk about the southern borders areas in nearby Grand counties. As a government, we were in Grand along with my minister sometime this year. And we saw some of these people. A personal story of mine resonated when I was traveling back from Grand to Monrovia. My car broke down. And I met two gentlemen that could not even speak English. The only thing they could say was Pima, and I don't speak French, I don't understand it. So fortunately for me, my driver spoke French. So he was able to, interpret what they were saying. I started to ask a question. That was my first time coming in contact. And they could not really tell me why. but I saw them firsthand. So my minister and I was there. We know that Realize program, one of our partners in the counties and social protection will go unnoticed if we did not give statistics and some of the things our partners are doing in the various counties to sustain and minimize poverty among our people that are crossing the borders. In Grand Guinea, we have 4,020 households in 15 communities doing farming. In Grand Cru, 2,100 we're doing cash transfer. Refugee is 3,500 cash transfer, and 2,500 in River 6. So we go back to the human rights, and you say what we're doing. Human rights typically would involve the protection of another person's rights. We know that I have my immigration brother up there, Senator Zago, will elaborate more on that. But we need to establish a monitoring system to identify and respond to human rights violations, because where your right ends, another person's rights begin. As a deputy minister working with children in social protection, we are to implement child protection measures, including education, psychosocial, to prevent exploitation and abuse. For the women, we look at empowerment. Support the women through initiatives, community initiatives, literacy program, economic empowerment, and leadership training. We also want them to have access to justice. Just because they are crossing our borders, they need to be protected as well. They need their rights to be protected. So we want to ensure that we have justice for some of these victims that are coming into our borders. Their rights are not violated just because they are crossing the border. We are providing legal assistance and counseling to them. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you so much. You elaborated on some of the things you were doing, and it will pay to learn some small French also. I don't know, we do have some French Burkinabes in the audience. Maybe if our colleague who are responsible to do French interpretation and take on the role of interpreting for them, that would be fine for us. Thank you. Let's go on to our last question for the two. Are we concerned about the rights of our citizens living in these communities? When it comes to the issue of harassment, intimidation, neglect, these are things we hear. These are things people are spoken of and are ongoing around the communities. What mechanism can be put in place for the rights, social protection of our citizens in these places? I know the rubber went them already. What can we do?
The Commission, Human Rights Commission, has a mandate. That mandate is to protect the rights of the citizens and also promote human rights in a Liberian society. Besides that, we are the advisors of the government on human rights issues. But what we notice is that the disrespect for the rule of law, the disrespect for the rule of law in our communities is causing serious problem. Talk about land grabbing. In recent time, I listened to the tribe of Kunakudi when she said that people are being accused of being armed robbers because they're fighting for land, put in trouble. Sometimes they accuse people of being a rapist, which is not true. But the Human Rights Commission is monitoring the situation, but we do not have enforcement power. We only advise the government as to what is going on, because the citizens must be protected, and it is the responsibility of the government to protect the citizens. But we don't have the enforcement power.
Okay. Mr. Wusi, it's a similar question to you also.
Yeah, so let me begin by saying that no enforcement power is a recipe for more confusion, more violations, and more atrocities. So, we have an elevated issue advanced to advocacy, to lobbying with the national legislature for amendment on the high that created the commission, and take over the ombudsman right now to ensure that we elevate the conversation around our areas to ensure that the scope of work of the ombudsman and the AACC and other integral institutions take into consideration human rights violations since in fact our country have signed and ratified international instruments.
Thank you. Thank you. A round of applause for that, please. Thank you so much. You did excellently well in discussing this particular issue. Now we will open up for 3 questions for you, the panelists. I mean, from you, the audience, to the panelists. See if we have the hands up. Okay. So, please, you have 1 question, be direct to the question, and then the panelists will take the 3 questions, and then they will be put on answer. Call your name.
Well, my name is Fopa Gizi, the chairman of the board of directors of the Youth Development Agency. My question goes directly to the Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister of Gender, Honorable Ituka. I have heard of cash transfer, and when we're transferring this money, this cash, they were transferring the cash to whom? I'm asking to whom? Because I constantly hear people saying, believed to be Burkinabes. Did they identify them as migrants, as refugees, as who? You gave money to somebody. They were giving the money.
Thank you.
On what basis?
Thank you.
That's my question.
Got your question. The next person.
Okay. Thank you very much. By the way, second introduction, my name is Ezekiel Agabao, and I'm also here from Refugee. My question is directly to Desktop Brown. He just quoted Chapter 3, Article 13A in B, whereas the Constitution of Liberia provides that everybody residing lawfully within the Republic of Liberia. But you will realize that the occupations of those people, let me say, is illegal. How do you reconcile that? The occupation of the local economy? Is it legal? Because I prescribed by the Constitution, it says lawful. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a female? Okay, a female speaker.
My name is Orito Dennis, Executive Director of the ECOWAS Civil Society Movement of Liberia. My question is, what is the root cause of this Burkinabe?
Sorry, who does your question?
Oh, this question is going to go to our Executive Director of the LRRC. And, well, Liberia Immigration Service and Liberia Police in the field that present, how do they get here and what is the root cause? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll give a chance, so who wants to go first?
So they say ladies first. So I'm going to be addressing Honorable Kisi's question. I spoke about cash transfer, and he said to whom? Were they migrants, were they refugees, or were they asylum seekers? Sir, do I have your question correct? All right. I think initially when I spoke, I talked about need assessment. When you do need assessment, it's holistic. You don't look for citizenship, you just look for where the needs are and you address those needs. And as a government, we are partnering with Realize program to do the cash transfer to these people that live within our communities. We are not going and asking where you come from. We just go if there's a need, we go in and we help. That's what we do. Thank you.
I didn't get a question clear. I did not get the question clear.
The question to you was that the laws of Liberia say people who are legally living within the border, they have the right to protection and human rights. But now, are these people legally living within the border?
Well, this is the very serious question. This is why I decided to concentrate on how they enter this country. Now, whether they enter illegally or not, the issue is we have attached our signature to the human rights issue. This is the serious problem for the Liberian government now. Because if people keep, whether they, I know, I want to conclude here that they enter illegally. They enter illegally, and the reason why I'm concluding this way is that 2 or 3 years ago, it was started coming small. Today, they reached the number of 40,000 plus. Now, this question of protection, yeah, we are obligated to protect them, but these people, we have to classify them who they are. We don't know who they are because they can run away at any time and do anything.
Root cause. This is how for me. But based on our interactions and field visits, and based on the data from our staff in deep field, the root cause of the influx of the people in our borders is centered around 2 major areas. And we are hoping to validate and super confirm that information based on a well-structured, organized profiling and data analysis. The first one is, we are aware that the World Cocoa Market have a headquarters in West Africa, Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is the headquarters of the World Cocoa Market. It means that if cocoa headquarters is based in Ivory Coast, the neighboring countries in the host country, Ivory Coast, should be an active player in the value chain. So the production of cocoa in Ivory Coast, in our wisdom, is not enough to supply the increasing demand of the end users. So they have to go one step beyond to have access to more production on the value chain. So based on the productivity level and the level of production that will be processed on the value chain, cannot meet the demand of the end consumers. So they have to engage big farm holders who will engage small farm holders as subsidiaries, so that their farm will support the big farm, and the big farm will process their food stuff in terms of cocoa, then sell to the company to be produced for consumption and marketing. In our investigation, we're interested to know that good number of those Burkinabes who are farmers, big farmers in Ivory Coast, do not have access to land to do huge cocoa production. Number two, the topography and the soil texture of what we have in the Monrovia counties is very good for our cocoa production. In fact, that part of the country is referred to as the cocoa belt of Liberia. So, how they got the information? Good number of Burkina brothers who are farmers, cocoa farmers, make their way to Liberia to do cocoa business. Like my senator said, and a councillor, how they got there, who brought them, we don't know. But they got there because of cocoa business. That number is increasing. The second cause of the people is the war in Burkina Faso. People, because of war and fear of persecution, run away from their country, found themselves in a neighboring country, on the way to Ivory Coast. As a refugee, if I enter Mosanta, Guinea, and I came from Guinea, I will move to Conakry. If I can see an opportunity in Conakry, I will move to Mali. Where I will find life to give myself and protect myself and go home, and why I just a refugee. So, put the other people, because they are seeing the trigger point, Liberia is where most of our friends are, and also the mother too, see that way to come to Liberia also, in search of better living as a partner, but also the national protection. So this is my two little answers based on my investigation. But to confirm the information, that's the reason why we are seeking both information from you that will help our adequate discussion at policy level that will mandate us to move in to the group for the people to know the actual story that will help you to make a good decision.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for our panelists. I want to thank the audience for your questions. And I hope that we are more interactive as we move forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming up and providing your knowledge. We look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much.
Focus on Liberia live on the grounds of the Paynesville City Hall in Monrovia.
Our next discussion is
LRRRC in collaboration with partners hold one-day national stakeholders dialogue on the influx of Burkinabe nationals in Liberia, and that was the first discussion.
Known as
in some time, we're going to have another one.
Thank you very much. We are very happy to be part of this historic dialogue. We will call on our discussants who will join us to further discuss the topic under our consideration. We'll be looking at the political and foreign implications of the subject at hand, the presence in Liberia of individuals believed to be Burkinabes, to follow the earlier speaker, and how we can bring the situation to a close. On my list, we have the Honorable Pula V. Fofana, Presidential Press Secretary, or her proxies. Anybody? Is she here? Good, good, good. Thank you. Honorable Fofana is the Presidential Press Secretary for the Ministry of State. Welcome very much. Thank you. Don't mind her, she's our boss. All the press people boss here. Thank you. I also like to welcome someone who needs no introduction, if you will. But for the sake of this occasion, I'd like to welcome Madam Adina Wisa, former Secretary General of the Monrovia Union. Thank you very much. Madam Wisa is a notable name on the Liberia, especially in the media. Don't mind me. That's also my journalist people there. Oh, my big journalist. Okay, so I'd like to invite the Honorable Senator Creighton Duncan. Is the Senator here? Or does he have a proxy? Or probably the Senator will join us later. Senator, NDPT here. Mr. Senator, the Senator ain't got to be here, that's all. Good. So probably the Senator will come as we go along, or he will set someone. We also have the Honorable Magdalena Cooper, Senior Political Advisor, Office of the President, Ministry of State. Mr. Honorable Cooper, and has a proxy. We hope she can join us later. We have the Honorable Jetty Mowbray Ama. Honorable Jetty Ama is the Deputy Minister for Legal Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or a proxy. Is it the Friday? Okay, so that's what we have with our list. So no one introduces anyone better than the person himself or herself. So I'd like to now hand over to the panelists to make their introduction.
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying good morning, everyone, and recognize the high table and say further, all protocols duly observed, because I don't want to miss anyone. But the name is Pula Nani Fofana. As he rightly put it, I currently serve the Liberian presidency as Presidential Press Secretary to His Excellency Joseph Imampuapa. And I think whatever else you want to know, but I've been around quite a bit. Previously worked with Madam Sirleaf government as the Assistant Minister for Youth Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I contested in elections, these recent elections in Burkinabe County for the House of Representatives, District Number 2. Prior to that, I contested for the House of Senate, Cape Mount. And currently student as well at the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law. I have, in fact, interestingly, my background is also in violence, conflict, and development, particularly on the track of migration and understanding what it is. So for this election, I was a little bit surprised that I was asked to come and speak to this distinguished audience. But I'm very happy to be here. I look forward to having a very fruitful dialogue on this panel, and I'm honored to also share this panel with a mom, a big sister, a mentor, and she's been doing a lot, and I followed her through. So I'm honored to share this panel with her and the rest of the team. So thanks to the LRRC team for inviting me here today to contribute to the conversation around the political and foreign implication of, I would say, migration, especially regional migration. So thank you. I look forward to the discussion.
Thank you very much. We join our next panelists or discussants.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you to Anthony Bowen. Good to see all the good old faces. Thank you, Madam Gula Fofana. I also want to join instead of existing protocols to thank the Executive Director of the LRRRC and distinguished members of the High Table, invited guests to say this. I think it's a very important conversation that we should be having at this time on this matter. I would want to say the name is Medina Wise, not the way they spell it in the program, but that's actually pronounced. And I once served as the Secretary General, the Ambassador of the Monrovia Union. That's 4 countries: Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, with a population of about 52 to 54 million persons. And the purpose of this organization that is over 50 years old is to ensure integration. The integration of economists, of the people, but done in a very proper legal manner. I'm back home and I currently work as a counselor at law at the International Law Group. So just by way of introduction. And I'm happy to join this conversation at this time because I think it's a very critical political security issue that needs to be properly addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. We have received an addendum to our list of discussants. We are honored to invite esteemed Professor and President of the United Methodist University, Dr. Yagono. Kindly join us. Please give Dr. Yagono a hand. Thank you. We will come to the introduction, but we have one more to add. This energetic senator, once a senator, always a senator, Steve Amadou Jokosago, Lofa County, Liberia Immigration Service Commissioner General. Mr. Commissioner, you're welcome, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Senator, for joining us. You know, there's a little joke. There's this big fight about, oh, no, we're not senator, no, it's former senator. I said, no, once a senator, always a senator. So we'll go to Dr. Gono for our introduction.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Yagono Gono. I was the founding president of the Timber County Community College, where I served for 8 years. It's now a university, and I'm currently the president of the United Methodist University, where I'm serving. I wasn't expecting to be around this table to talk about the political implications, but I'm honored to be invited to talk about refugees and the problems that may be coming to our country. I'm sitting here with my board member and also former steering committee member, Madam Fofana. So I'm delighted to participate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gono. So we go to the Senator.
I think I'm the luckiest with all these beautiful women. Well, I'm honored. Okay. Yeah, I'm honored. Honestly, I'm honored. My name is Stephen Jacob Amadou Zago, former Senator of Upper County, immediate past. And I'm the Senate Chair Committee on Defense, Security, and Intelligence. And then I was privileged, while I'm Senator to represent this country at Headquarters Parliament for 6 years. I co-chair the Committee on Trade, Custom, and Free Movement. Currently, I'm the Commissioner General, Deputy Attorney General of the Republic of Liberia. So, I have been asked to talk about security implications, but now I've been blended with a political one. I've very hard to fit into it. But thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. But you know, this security expert was also a political party leader. So, Honorable Fofana already started out very well looking at just one war implications. You got people coming into the country, want to ask questions how in, what are their interests, and you know, how does their state affect us and the rest of it. So we will start from our left to my right. We'll begin with just what we have before us. What are the political and foreign implications of the presence of these Burkinabes on Liberian soil against the backdrop of how do they come here? People could move in here, documented, and there wouldn't be an issue. But why are we thinking about political implications? Why are we thinking about all of the things that will come with your friends coming to stay around you? You should be like, you are in the know, you know how they go there, why they came here, all these kinds of stuff. And Honorable Fofana, it's up to you to begin to drill us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as you started, I'm happy to be here. I'd like to begin first and foremost by putting the discussion in context and understanding it from the perspective of regional migration. I'm sure many of us have followed through on the issues of migration within West Africa, but also in Africa overall. Many times when you see the news, or very recent, you have Africans moving from one country to another, particularly with their influx going to Europe and other western parts, in very difficult conditions. Some risk their lives and get on boats and get on very difficult conditions to just look for greener pasture. So I will look at this topic from those perspectives. One, why are our neighbors coming to Liberia? And especially with our country, may not be one of the best. We know we have our own challenges, but yet there are people who have interest in coming. Without any speculation, it's important for us to understand that people leave the countries for different reasons, especially if they're doing so in different conditions. I'm speaking as a former refugee. As you know, Liberia had many years of civil conflict. And I was one of those amongst then very younger who went to Sierra Leone because we were running away from the war, and we went back. In fact, we also became internal refugee. My parents, during the war, when Liberia war started, there was the Sierra Leonean refugees here from Sierra Leone. They were situated in places like Sankai Town, they had the camp, they had VOA, Banjo, and whatnot. At the time, Liberia was also preparing for her own conflict. So my parents brought us up because, you know, during war, there is the United Nations system that is understandable under the international humanitarian law that refugee camps are expected to be safe. So because of that, my parents took us from home in Cinco and went to stay on a refugee camp in Upper Cargo, Samukai camp specifically. And we had to take on Sierra Leonean refugee status. And this was all because of the concept of protection. So people leave their homes in comfort to get away, sometimes because of war, sometimes because of economic reasons. Sometimes the expectation is that the conditions in those countries are by far better than what they have in their country. And then sometimes, in fact, thinking of what's happening in South Africa, for example, because when people leave their different countries and go to other places, the expectation is that the country they're going to must be welcoming. And this whole concept of migration, where people are going to seek greener pastures and get their lives situated. So it is very important as we look at how the influx of our neighbors, our West African brothers and sisters are coming to Liberia, specifically the case of the Burkinabe, in terms of understanding it contextually. So it is important for us to also know that the African Union, the Economic Community of West African States, the Monrovia Union, and many regional bodies, the whole concept is to ensure that Africans are integrated as one people, one family, one nation, one brotherhood. In a way, there have been many progress have been made in that. I'm sure we know the essence and the importance of the ECOWAS passport. That if you have an ECOWAS passport, you can travel to any part of the continent, particularly in West Africa, with your ECOWAS passport. You do not need a visa. Those were progress, even on integration. So when we are seeing the influx of others, the contextual reasons we have to put it. What is the political context? What is the foreign implication now? If people are coming, there is a need that institutions such as the IMO, the International Migration Organization, the LRRRC, and even the regional bodies, to be able to support these kinds of initiatives, especially with LRRRC in the lead, so that our neighbors who are coming to places like ours is not just coming clandestinely or for other security reasons. It is important that institutions of such be supported, that the profiling of individuals who are coming to any country, especially ours in this particular instance, to ensure that they're coming for the right reasons and they're well integrated. I'm sure we all know that very recently we do also have Liberians who are in other countries, like Ghana, for example, the situation of the Ghanaians returning or the Liberian returning from Ghana to Liberia. So with the situation of the Burkinabe, it's important to contextualize it, to ensure that they're profiling properly, ensure that the essence for which they're coming to Liberia has not any negative motive. If those reasons are for coming to seek greener pasture, if they're coming to ensure or running away from difficult situations in the country, it's important that that migration process or that integration process be put in place where institutions such as LRRRC is well supported to adequately, safely, securely ensure that people who want to come through our borders, of course in partnership with the Liberia Immigration Services, to make sure that they come properly with the right channel and that they're well situated. Despite the fact that even on our country's soil, we do have challenges. We have challenges of economic challenges, we have health challenges. However, my approach to this conversation is to have an open dialogue, to understand the context, why are they coming, but more so to support LRRRC in doing their work to ensure that our neighbors from the Burkinabe community are properly situated? Should they be coming for right reasons, especially economic? Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Well said. I mean, you already talking about regional migration. There's already thinking about how we are interconnected, and we come from different countries. We got political boundaries. There are implications for as long as the Burkinabe stay here, 10 years from now, all of their children might just become college graduates, and the rest of it might just begin taking over places that we might just start to ask questions. How did it happen? So, Madam Martina Wisse has been dealing with this regional bloc. And so, we're looking at all these different implications, political implications, economic implications, the issue of free movement. Where is Burkina now? They're not in our own bloc. You know, what are the processes? How do they come to another country? Under what conditions? All of these different kinds of implications. Please help us. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much again. Again, let me thank LRRC for taking up this issue. The perception is there might be refugees, and there could be refugees. And I listened to the LRRC director, and he talked about the three sets of people when there's mass migration. So you have asylum seekers or asylee, you have political refugee-seeking people, and of course then you have economic migrants, not to talk about the internally displaced persons. There are various definitions, and I think the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission helped us with the definition and the conventions. But I think if we looked at the definition of who an economic migrant is, we will see why we really need to profile these persons and give them and put them in the category they belong and see what government needs to do. So just by way of definition, an economic migrant or economic migrants are the movement of people from one country to another to benefit from greater economic opportunity in the receiving country. Now, when I thank the executive director for accentuating this problem, is to encourage him not to put it in a silos. So don't just look for refugees and put them in the silos of your entity. The political implication of this problem is it cuts across nearly 12 cabinet positions or entities. So if the government has 21 cabinet positions, 10 will have to pay attention to this problem. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you are not certain whether Burkina Faso is a member of ECOWAS or remains a member, because the last time we checked, they attempted to pull out. And the current president of ECOWAS, President Bola Tinubu, has designated special envoy to go talk to them. So even if they are flukes, ECOWAS protocol still guides us, because we have 90 days for which they can move freely in and about. We are very friendly people, too friendly for our even for our own selves. So just Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the political cap that the minister will have to put on. And under the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, you have the National Security Advisor, who has to also put on the cap and watch all of this and be able to advise the presidency. The Justice Ministry, the Attorney General, and as you see, the Inspector General of the Immigration Service, he's the Deputy Attorney General. So he has to be the first point of reference. So we're talking about the political implications application, the immigration, because if we go by any number, we will ask the immigration people, what's your statistics with that? Now, MRU, the 4 countries we aim to integrate. So when this question was first brought up before us 5 years ago, we sent people out there because Liberian government's position at the time was to expel the Burkinabes. But we came in and said, no, you cannot just expel like that because we are MRU, they're not in here, but they are part of ECOWAS at that time. And because these are seen as economic migrants, there have been cross-cutting issues, including households. Because if you say the basic unit of society is the family, they have come to intermarry or have children by our girls and our women. So come back to the Ministry of Gender. You see the Ministry of Gender was here, Gender and Children's Protection, that will be an issue. Citizenship is by way of marriage as well. So foreigners come in. So as a lawyer, I will tell you that they are on the path to citizenship because if you have children, by marriage, spouses can transfer, and our constitution says people of Negro descent. So they are on the path to citizenship as well. So under justice, if we come back after immigration, you have to look at the police, the National Security Agency, and see how these people working with Ministry of Internal Affairs, how we are able to access, and as Madam Kula Fofana had said, and joining others, have a proper profile. So you need that. So you look at internal affairs, you look at the issue of the local government structure. We are all asking the question, because to come in, there are over 350 illegal crossing points between the 4 countries. We got 2 official border crossing points, Danane by way of Ganta and Tabu by way of Kappa. Logato is also there, but it's not like we say in MRU, our class A border crossing points. So the 350 illegal crossing along the 4 countries, how do we manage? These are landmass, but people live in between and across these various borders. Labor comes in, Ministry of Labor comes in. If they come in and they go beyond the 90 days, they require resident permit and work permit. Ministry of Finance, we have to plan. Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. We have to plan for these people. You know, we need a health plan because we're hoping that they will not get sick. So we put, like I said, there are 21 ministries. I'm just trying to put you in the immediate, those that actually have direct impact. Because the taxation, land, Ministry of the Land Authority, the Ministry of Mines and Energy, these people are also mining. And because they are illegal, if we don't properly document them, we don't know how they are mining, we don't know with who they are mining, and we don't know how the mining situation is regulated. And there's also 2 agencies that are not at the cabinet level, but there are 2 other agencies of government, the Environmental Protection Agency and the Forestry Development Authority. Now, at MRU, we signed all kinds of treaties, and we are proud to say that we have the 3rd largest biodiversity forest in the world. Second is the Congo Basin. First is the Amazon. the Amazon forest in Brazil, Congo Basin in Congo Kinshasa and Congo DRC, then Liberia, and in the Mano River context of the 4 countries. Now, if people are going to be doing farming and cutting down, are we cutting down primary forests, which we are supposed to be protecting? Or are these people into secondary forests? Cote d'Ivoire, for example, has lost 85% of its primary forests. All right? So let me just stop here. I think we can go over, of course, Minister of Education, Minister of Agriculture. Cocoa and coffee. People are bringing in species to plants. And we hear Cote d'Ivoire, the cocoa is one of the leading producers in the world. Now the cocoa they produce now sprouting up in 3 years. And what kinds of fertilizers or nurturing do we need? Are they genetically modified? We don't know. So Ministry of Agriculture comes in to be able to also superintend. So we're talking about 10 ministries and 2 major entities. So if you are looking at the political implication, this is cross-cutting, and we must thank LRRC for accentuating the problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If I had my way, we would just continue on that path. Because we follow agriculture, we follow forestry. And we know primarily the demand for forest land is one key reason why we're having this situation out there. But we will come back again, and I'm sure that other aspects of the implications for the Burkinabe's being here will be touched. But you know, when you have to balance all of these peaceful coexistence, and especially a situation where there is the ECOWAS and this country discussing, I want to get out, you can get out, and all these kinds of things, there are serious political implications. When you talk about, I know the Commissioner General will say a lot about that. Look at the porosity of the country. How are we going to deal with this situation? It has to be several ministries, several agencies, everybody working, everybody must be their own way well. And when you say the future, you talk about the younger generation. I would say in this case, education. That's why we have our esteemed professor here to look at the implications, political implications, economic implications. How does this look to impact Liberia in different ways, looking at Liberia as a young generation. So give it to you, Professor.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm Dr. Bono, and I actually wasn't one of those on the list, but I will try my best. Manawise has already said the rest of the presenters have said enough, but looking at the refugee situation in Liberia and knowing that Liberians themselves were refugees in other countries, we may be looking at it and taking it simple, but it's a serious situation that can affect all aspects of our existence. We have peace now, but the peace is also fragile. And we are not even aware of the 40,000 that we are talking about in the different counties. We're not aware of the actual number, and we don't know what they are doing in those places, and whether some of them will be recruited for any reason when there is anything going on in the country as far as problem, whether they will be part of it and all of that. So I think in addition to the different agencies and organizations that we have talked about, we need to focus also on the communities in which these people are, and those that are primarily leading in those communities. I know that we will deal with immigration and so forth. People can pass through immigration in a lot of different ways. So the community leaders who are in those counties, we have to work with the immigration to address the issue. We've already said to profile, because we take so many things for granted when somebody is driving and people are jumping in the forest or in the bush. They are not legally there, so we need to make sure that those things are taken care of. The academic or educational component that maybe will affect us also if we are not careful will be the students or children from there, from these people. When I was at the Neighbor County Community College, we had a lot of refugees who came and registered, and then we have to figure out scholarships and some ways to help them. So I think that Liberian government and those who are in authority and anywhere in a decision-making position in dealing with refugees need to take this issue seriously and work together in collaboration to resolve the aspect of the migration, the different categories of people, and how it can be properly researched and profiled in a way that we will not be caught off guard when some small thing happen in this country, and these very people we are talking about have already covered, or many of them are in the forest we don't even know, and then they become to take part and take side with different oppositions. So I'm just looking at that, and I think that's what we need to be paying attention to. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I normally would say, especially even my own kids will ask me questions about why did this happen? Why this did not happen? And sometimes you want to ask, why are you asking me? But is that right? So now we talk about the political implication. We talk about the economic implication. But trust me, the security implication is huge. When you follow our past history during our difficult days, even if you just said that Burkinabe is around, and I'm saying this in no negative way, people were concerned. And the LRRRC had someone who had no security. I don't know how people find the thing, but because when you say ZACO as security. So, and then I had an opportunity to cross with him 2 days ago. His work is impacting different ministries, agencies, and so I was just giving him an opportunity to look at the security implications, and with his political prowess too, as a political player, look at the political implications as well. Local people are very entrepreneurial as well, probably also look at the economic implications. So, Mr. Commissioner, is over to you.
Thank you so very much. After having listened to the young and energetic President Kula, and then my own dynamic, but I wish that I went into the regional context, and I was so satisfied in my head. And then at Gono, I did, like I said earlier, I'm the old blessed man here now. The guy with the teeth with me on his side. Look, the spoken word, mine will be the political and yet talk about security implication. If you the communication from Liberia, the LRRC, is well documented, it's well written. It laid out and set the foundation for the stakeholder discussion. Is there a fear? Liberian, is there a fear? If you are to take 10 Liberians to sample the view, if there is a fear, my general then will say yes. Not necessarily because of people coming into our territory, but in Burkina Faso and Liberia. It raises fear in the minds of Liberia. But years back, Burkinabe, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ghanaian, Nigeria were here in the box. There was no fear. But now is the fear. So as a security analyst, I come to say to us, because of that, ECOWAS, in anticipation of this fear, developed a series of protocols in anticipation of the fear we have, developed a series of protocols, and we, being a member of the ECOWAS framework, those protocols in my mind are unique to address the fear. What has ECOWAS said? ECOWAS said we are among the 400 million people in West Africa, and my young brother from LRRC, Burkina Faso made an offer to leave, we told them no. You see, because when you turn to leave a regional organization, there are a lot of procedure involved. So they have not succeeded yet, and we have sent them, as Madam President said, sent emissary to intervene, so Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and our neighbor Guinea should not leave. So they are not left there. They are telling them, take them, no. We need them. We need them. So in anticipation, ECOWAS has developed a framework and said those 400 people in West Africa, per pro-country movement, should move from one country to another country, and not only they should move, goods and services produced in West African region can leave one West African country to another country with no tax and pay, as they will be if you're taking the goods from, say, India or China, and you bring them into Guinea, Africa or Sierra Leone, and you want to bring them, you gotta pay a levy. But if that good is produced in any West African country, bring it to Liberia, you will not pay. We want to encourage free movement. For a kind of Burkina Faso, I understand why they fear. So what do? ECO had developed what you call the brown card. ECO had developed what you call the EMIC. ECO Parliamentary National Delegation Card, the EMIC. So that we all will be in the framework. The 400 million people, the 50 countries, we need it. So in this discourse, in the conversation, we need an NRR, the National Delegation Registry. We need a discussion. We need to start to document and use the work of the young dynamic press secretary, providing of those that are coming. They didn't tell government to come because it's so happening. We know what is happening in Burkina Faso. So, Burkina Faso got a huge border with La Côte d'Ivoire. La Côte d'Ivoire got a huge border with Liberia. Our war years, La Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso create fear in us. I understand the fear, Liberian. But as an actor, I tell you, fear no more. As a national security actor, I say, don't have that fear again. Yes. Let me tell you what we don't have fear. Let you check out the ECOWAS protocols. Period. Let's put it around now. Let us send to the enemy. ECOWAS National Parliamentary Card. So ECOWAS had told us each country in West Africa should develop 8 unique features. ECOWAS had developed I think 20 to 30 features for the embassy. That card. The card is so unique that it gets more easily. It lasts for almost 5 years. So those Burkina that are sent to come here. For whatsoever reason, I don't want to talk about political side. But we need to get profiling so each one of them should have an identity card. So they become traceable, identifiable. Traceable, traceable and identifiable. So all our security architecture that within the security framework can play the role and lay out as Madam Wilson. The NSA does theirs. Immigration will do ours. Police do theirs. The NRR do theirs. The LRRC do theirs. And let's start being afraid. Because that prayer was said, went to Sierra Leone, went to Guinea, went to La Côte d'Ivoire during our war years. Did we start there? Some of us left from there and want to test it. Want to Ghana. Ghana doesn't have a border like Liberia. Burkina Faso doesn't have a border like Liberia. But La Côte d'Ivoire got a border like Liberia. So you go to one African country to seek refugee once you ever start. And you see that you're going to develop yourself. And you did not develop, you come to a 10 African country. So the country we left from, many of us left from Sierra Leone, Guinea, La Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana. So Burkina Faso, as the result of their war or any other reason, Burkina La Côte d'Ivoire also chose to come to Liberia because our brother La Côte d'Ivoire. I heard a young LRRC Patrick say, "Oh, Africa is a hub for cocoa." I don't think our hub for cocoa is the root cause. The root cause was to find a safe zone for themselves. So when they found safe zone for themselves, they took air of relief. Then they thought, now we found safe zone now. How do we survive in safe zone? Africa will not provide all of the conditionalities for that relief. So they're going to Liberia. They can't do Liberia. You think they want to fold their hands and put between their legs? They're not lazy people. When we profile that group of Burkina Faso in Liberia, they're not lazy people, they're very strong. Our people, they work their hands. They work their hanns. Now, another Liberia, most of them work their hands. Men of our are unfortunately lazy. Yes. Think of it. Men of our are unfortunately lazy. When I'm chairing the Committee on Defense, Security, Intelligence, Veteran Affairs Senate, I dispatched the military there. And I knew what came back to me. I knew what came back to me. Fear no more than what the same. Let each other and let work with them. Let them utilize and let them show that the African protocol on free movement is the year to. Let all show that the image, the brand card, the up-to-date profile, that utilize them. That's the breed they want to do cocoa. They learn for them, and they learn for Liberia. They make them work with them. So we all benefit. It's a win-win. You think that, why you think when they see security actors, they have, where do they have? Who show them the play to have? The locals. Yeah.
And yeah, but we want to So what we wanted to do, Senator, was to just ask you to tie that into what your recommendations are.
My recommendations?
Yes.
One, let each other the airport principle. One, the image, the airport national parliamentary electoral card. Two, airport brown card. And even in the security architecture, we develop what we call the county security council, the district security council. On that framework, what is done in that law, they give national security architecture an extension of local involvement. The paramount chief is involved, the clinic chief is involved, the quarter chiefs are involved. Let them be connected in the security architecture. And when they are, there will be an external part of national security.
Thank you. Please, the Senate is still speaking. Thank you.
Here we are at LRRC, we beneath our benchmark. But only was scaling down, only some benchmark for LRRC. We should be between 4,000 to 5,000. Are we low now? We beneath. Can we be omnipresent? Can we be one place, the all? No. So to be able to get to that number and perform our tax, we need all of our other actors. We're trying to recruit 500 persons. We don't have to do what? 12,000. The money that we get in, we have 12,000 applicants. Our benchmark, if we can get our benchmark, one recommendation, let LRRRC achieve its benchmark. One. Number two, let our local institution be an external part of security architecture, stroke LRRRC. Three, let ECOWAS, let Liberia ensure that we adhere to the ECOWAS free movement protocol and the NDIC, the ECOWAS National Environmental Administration Card. Four, the ECOWAS Brown Card. If we do those things there, we are on the way to ensure that the fear is alleviated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator. So this time around, I will go from my right to my left. So we'll come back to Dr. Gono just in case she also has what she wants to recommend within the context of our conversation. You have the opportunity now.
I think that what I was trying to articulate and express was what he just said, working with the local communities, the leaders, like the chiefs and town chiefs, doing Ebola. That was the way Ebola was actually, that had an end of Ebola, because we started by just dealing with the state people, and nobody was paying attention to the rural communities and the role that they can play in that process. So my recommendation would be the same, or I would take piece from what he said, the last one, is to work with the leaders of the communities and train them so that they can also work with the higher security apparatus in the city here in Monrovia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gono. I'm following similar trend as we come back to Madam Wisse to also probably make some additions and give our recommendations to this discussion. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So the identification registration is certainly the way to go. If you go to Cote d'Ivoire, you cannot leave your house without what they call the card issue. Maybe it's a French thing, and so they make it a part of the daily life. I was in Cote d'Ivoire for a brief time, and I once saw the cook of my host. She was petrified. She was so scared that she got down from the car and realized she didn't have the ID card. She went right back to the scene and went back. So the identification card, as Commissioner Zago is saying, is the key. The next thing is just our enforcement or education, so people can know what these laws are. So I heard Director Padre say, in some parts of the country, people are talking about 60-40, about land and land production. So one, if you know that the land, you need to properly demarcate this land. Meaning the land authority needs to know what are your needs and values. The 40% that you're giving somebody to produce, can you give it? No, you cannot. If that person is a foreigner, you cannot own the land, even if you're giving it 10%. Then if you get to know that Ministry of Labor will come after you for the work permit and for the resident permit, and you have to pay, you have to regularize it every year. Then the Ministry of Finance and the LRRRC will come after you for the taxes. If these different government entities function properly, we will manage. That lead a part about Liberian, they say we won't work. If agriculture is going to contribute to the GDP, we'll see it and we'll feel it. But if we're looking for solutions now, of the box, the government, as I think towards the end, LRRC wants to be able to accentuate a policy that is cross-cutting, that will see interagency collaboration, interministerial collaboration. So they should be able to bring out all of the things that work. The issue of gender, if people are having intermarriages, children, child protection, that if this person has ended at work and they want to go back to Burkina Faso, what happens to parental care? Is it the mother who will say this child is a Liberian child? Or is it the father who will say by Burkinabe laws, this child is a Liberian child? So I think if we look at this issue once again holistically through the lenses of interagency, interministerial collaboration, every part, take it up, just as the Commissioner of Immigration has said, take it up from the ID card and see how government will function. Then we have really no need to fear, but we have need to put systems in place. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I imagine the almighty vehicle. You don't have a vehicle if you don't have tires. You don't have a vehicle if you don't have lights on the vehicle. So it's like everything working together as a system. So I agree with you. One person who will have sleepless nights to know what the library say what the conditions and all of that. Will be cooler, will be called by the president. Where are you? We have to say this thing, we have to clarify this. Well, you listen to all these people, you yourself have sensible discussion. What would be, what you would propose?
Well, thank you very much. And let me say again this. I think we do not have enough time to really exhaust the importance of this topic. But I think it's also enough to begin the conversation. And I want to ask the LRRC team not to just leave it here, and to also begin to think about ways in which you can engage different segments of the population in having these conversations. It could be at this level, it can also be at community level.